Well, hello, you fabulous interior design professional. Welcome to Business of Design. I'm so glad you're here because I want to talk about an adage that I think is not always accurate, and that is this: the customer is always right. That's the adage. Well, in my business, I have found that sometimes the customer or the client, even wonderful clients, can be wrong. And what do I do in that situation? What do you do when you find yourself with clients who want you to provide everything on their wish list for this fixed amount of money? They have a budget in mind and it seems reasonable to them. And what also seems reasonable to them is that you should be able to stretch their budget to include everything on the wish list. That is the dilemma, and that is what we're going to talk about on this episode 384. The customer is not always right. But you know who is always right? Cheryl Horn, and she's going to give us some quick announcements, and we'll jump right into the episode. I'm so glad you're here.
Thanks, Kimberly. Well, as we count down to our 20-year celebration at High Point Market on October 26th, we're excited to announce the 3 showrooms that are going to be hosting our Daniel House Club seminar series. So at 10 a.m., we're going to be talking about growing profitability with vendors, hosted by Four Hands. At 11 o'clock, we're going to be talking about why you should ignore the budget and specify better products, hosted by Sunpan. And then at 12 o'clock, we are going to be talking about how design fees are not enough, hosted by a Chu Home. And that is all followed by Business of Design's 2020 Vision, Be the Expert. That is our keynote presentation presented by Ann Moore at the Suites at Market Square. And Kimberly is going to be sharing 20 musts that she has learned through doing Business of Design, both running her own profitable design firm for over the 20 years, but also speaking with interior designers around the world since launching Business of Design in 2004. So you don't want to miss that. You're going to be able to take away these 20 musts and implement them in your business immediately, because that's really what we're about at Business of Design. It's not enough to just learn new systems and strategies. You really need to take the time to implement them in your business. And then stick around at 4 o'clock. We are going to jump into celebrating 20 years of Business of Design. We're so excited to meet so many longtime members face to face, and we would love to see you there. We do have an RSVP on the website. You don't need to fill that out to attend. It really is open to everybody. We just want to see who's coming and look for some of those familiar names so that we can put some faces with them. I'm certainly excited for that part. So complete details are on the website. Please check that out and join us in celebrating 20 years of Business of Design, High Point Market, October 26th. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Cheryl. All right, now I have been working with a really lovely couple for the past 4 or 5 months. They have a beautiful home. They have good taste. What they don't have is a budget that is sufficient to cover everything on their wish list. That's actually not a big surprise, right? I've been working as an interior designer since 1991, and I have yet to meet a client whose budget actually matches the wish list. And since I know that that's true 100% of time, 100% of the time, the client's wish list is not in alignment with what their hoped for budget is. Situations like this don't really throw me anymore, but they used to. Back in the day, I remember I thought it was my job to source products from 12,000 vendors looking for excellent solutions at a price point that would allow me to stretch that budget so the clients would get everything on their wish list. And think about that. Think about what that really means and what that looks like, because it means that I'm looking for products that look good on the outside, but probably aren't that well made, probably don't look as good on the outside, by the way, as the ones I would originally propose to clients if I hadn't the constraint of that budget. But this idea supposes that I'm going to offer up these inferior products to the clients in the hopes that I can make their budget stretch to include everything on the wish list. So I would spend, and this is, going back some years, I would spend 100 hours sourcing products from, how do I say this? Unreliable vendors and or big box stores. You know what I mean, right? Today, it looks like online shopping with vendors who um, you don't really have a relationship with. In fact, you really can't even access them unless you're placing an order, right? You place the order and it's really easy to do that. But when something goes wrong, your representative is suddenly unavailable or a little less helpful than you hoped. Or the rep is super helpful, but it's going to cost you more to ship back the item that has some deficiency than the cost of the item. So you end up just keeping this broken down, toy that nobody needs. It also could look like running around to TJ Maxx in Los Angeles or HomeSense in Toronto. Those are two places near where I live. And then filling your car with products that have been obtained through some jobber, right? It's not that there's never anything nice at those shops, but the price point is such that it's really hard for you to earn a living off that item because maybe in the best case scenario, you get something like a 10% discount. And sure, maybe you keep the 10% and it's better than nothing, but it's 10% on top of a small amount to begin with. Plus, the optics of charging your clients whatever your hourly rate is. So you can drive to TJ Maxx, park the car, and then load up your car. Those optics aren't great, right? And, even if you do find good product, right? So did their next door neighbor, right? There's no thought of anything customized, or there's no thought of something that's going to really wow them or impress them. Now, I'm not criticizing these shops. There is a time and a place for them. So I'm helping currently my son decorate his first home. And believe you me, we are going down and dirty, and that's fine. That's his budget. And that's the place we're at. And it's wonderful to have those options. But when you have clients who are lovely and wonderful, and they live in a big, beautiful home, and they drive a luxury car, and you think about, like, are they ultimately going to be thrilled when their home is filled with these pedestrian objects, these objects that anybody can get their hands on? Not only that, but even just the shopping at these particular stores, does that align with the brand that you've established for yourself or the brand that you're trying to establish for yourself? Does filling your car up with pillows and comforters and towels from Costco and driving them to your client's home and unloading them from your car in 8 trips, does that align with your brand? I'm going to go out on a limb and say, for most of us, the answer is no. Now, it's possible somebody's listening who says, you know what, that actually is who my brand is. I am the hardworking soccer mom, and my clients are my neighbors, and they're just like me. And I actually do want to satisfy my clients with items that look good on the outside and are extremely well priced. So I don't mind shopping at Target. I don't mind shopping at TJ Maxx. I don't mind shopping at HomeSense. Fair enough. I have no objection to that at all. The question is, can this be a profitable business model for you? In other words, if you are trading your most valuable resource, which is your precious time, if you are trading that in exchange for some sort of payment, is that a good trade? Is it worth it? And I know when I was first starting out, oh, sure, I'm building sweat equity. I'm just establishing myself, blah, blah, blah. I wish so much that I had established myself higher at the start. Had given myself a rate that was higher at the start. It takes a long time to make your way up the ladder in baby steps. Start where you really want to live and where you want to be. So, and as I said, so for some of you, that might actually be the snack bracket that you want to stay in, which is fine. But for some of you listening, you're saying to yourself, you know what? Now, It really doesn't make any sense for me to be running my business like that. So then what are the options? So back to my clients. Really wonderful couple, gorgeous house, luxury cars. They have a big appetite for travel. They have a lot of ideas about how they want their house to look and feel. And they are also really good friends with one of my all-time best clients. And they love the homes that we've done for that client. And what they want, these new clients, what they want is to actually have the same look and feel and style and grace and impact that we've created for my favorite clients. They want that same thing in their home, but they want it for a lot less money. Now, the thing is, they're not terrible people and they are not demanding anything and they are super reasonable people. They are reasonably asking me if there's some way we can stretch their budget to include everything that's on their wish list. And unfortunately, the answer is no. And this is where the name of the episode comes from. The customer is not always right. Their idea won't work. I know it won't work. And even if I tempted it, the products I would be searching for and sourcing don't align with my brand. I don't want to put my name on inferior products. I don't want to put my name on a product that's going to break down the minute they lean on the side table, it's going to crumble, right? That isn't what I want to do. That isn't what I've worked so hard for. So, what is the solution? Well, I'm going to tell you after this very quick word from our sponsor. I will tell you how I approached the situation and the solution that we landed on right after this. Hey designers, just popping in to remind you of the wonders of Daniel House Club. DHC simplifies your design business, offering everything you need in one place. No more wasting time managing orders. They've got that covered, so you can concentrate on creating beautiful spaces. Plus, they offer some of the best trade pricing on top brands like Four Hands, Curry & Co., and Hudson Valley Lighting with flat rate shipping. To join, visit danielhouse.club and use the promo code BOD2024, all caps, for 50% off your first year of their Pro Plus membership. And for you longtime members of DHC, they want to reward you for your loyalty. Use the code HighPoint2024 at checkout to receive 10% off the value of your next order. DHC is also super excited to celebrate BOD's 20th anniversary with us this fall at High Point Market. They will be sponsoring our seminar series on Saturday, October 26th, in partnership with some of their top vendor showrooms, including Four Hands, where mimosas will be on tap. Join Daniel House Club now and experience how easy managing your design business can be. Okay, now back to my lovely clients. They have a budget in mind and they don't want to spend more, and I get that. And that doesn't mean that they don't have more money. It means that they have allotted a certain amount of money to the design of their home, and that's their prerogative. And I actually say this to clients all the time. I don't want you to spend $1 million if you don't want to. I want you to spend what feels good for you, because it's a better investment of my time if we end up working together for the next 20 years, right? I don't want to just do one project for you. I want to do all your projects. And so if that means that we're going to make this one smaller, but you're happy and you're satisfied, great, let's do that. So they have this, kind of a strict budget that they want to stick to for decorating their home. And what that doesn't mean is that now it's my job to run around town and the internet and source products that look good but cost little. That's actually doesn't work. For one thing, it takes a lot longer to do that, right? And at my hourly rate, wow, I'm positive that wouldn't make them happy. So what really are some options? And I guess the first and most obvious is that you break the project into phases. People talk about that all the time, but what phases? What makes sense? So rather than trying to tackle the whole house all at once, which is what they've hired us to do, they are now asking if we can stretch the budget. And I'm saying, I don't think that's a good idea, but we can break it into phases. Why don't we do this? This is my proposal to them. Let's just do the main floor. And that's what I suggested. And I explained that by trying to stretch that budget too far, they're going to end up with a home filled with unexceptional products, poorly made product in some cases, and ultimately it's going to be unfulfilling. And you're going to want to do some redecorating in 5 years, and you're going to spend the money anyway. So I explained also that it was going to take a lot more of my hours to work that hard to meet this made up budget. And I would rather that they spend their money on products for their home than on my design hours. And that all sounds reasonable. The clients are like, yeah, okay. So we agreed that I was going to go back and I was going to organize a second set of estimates that was going to include only the main floor. And easy breezy, that didn't take very long. And then we set up a quick meeting on Zoom. And I proposed again, we have a new total and everything is back on track, right? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling scrappy. It's everything is going well until a couple days later. And one of the clients reaches out and says, we've had another thought about the project. We have decided we really do want to do the living room and dining room. We think that that's great. But we also really, really, really want to do our primary bedroom and the two kids' rooms. Oh dear, where to begin, right? So once again, I have to say this. These are lovely people. They are not being unreasonable. They're not being demanding, but their idea is a bad one. It's a bad one. So I say, let's jump on Zoom and have another quick conversation. And my intention is I'm going to tell them that this is really not a good way to spend their money. And here's why. If we only, and this is a conversation that I did have with them, if we only do the living room and the dining room, the adjacent spaces will look terrible. Currently, everything looks sort of fine. It looks so-so, looks meh currently, right? But once we introduce this sparkly new living room and a sparkly new dining room into the middle of this, the foyer, the great room, and the kitchen are going to look shabby. They just are. It happens every single time. It's like, how you do these projects and you paint 3 rooms in the house, but you don't paint the other rooms, and the adjacent rooms look really tragic when you finish with the clean paint jobs. All right, so that's part of the problem. They're kind of like, okay, this seems reasonable. We're following. And I'm like, not only that, but the kids' rooms, ay. Let me tell you a story. When I bought my first home with my husband, the very first thing we did was decorate the kids' rooms, of course, because they were little kids, and that's what you did, right? I decorated a little of the living room, a little of the dining room, and everything took years and years because I just didn't have the budget back then to do it, and I was busy building my career. And my early days, I wasn't earning a ton of money, tragically, right? Because I think about all the money I left on the table, but forget all that. So I've got these babies, and of course, babies turn into young children and they turn into teenagers. And so there's all these milestones where we think like, I really should redo the kids' rooms, right? By the time I finally got around to decorating my own primary bedroom with my husband, honestly, I couldn't believe what a difference it made. Both my husband and I said, oh my gosh, everything about this space now, the bedroom and the ensuite, feels so good. Suddenly it feels like we have this oasis and this like cushy, luxurious spot that's just ours. And I truly thought, why didn't I do this years earlier? Why did I decorate my children's rooms 3 times and not do my own bedroom? And I think part of the reason is that the budget for a children's bedroom makeover is so much smaller. So I was always kind of able to justify, I'm just going to squeeze that in, right? And I'll do my bedroom later, my bedroom later, my bedroom later. In hindsight, oh my gosh, I really wish I had done my own primary bedroom before I ever did a single thing in my kids' room, because guess what? Kids don't care. They do not care. Maybe when they get to be 8 or 9, they've got some opinions, but still, it's really not that important to them that they have the most perfectly designed space. So when I shared this with my clients, I could tell they were completely understanding this. They're giving each other a wink and a nod and like, oh my gosh, we've done it. This is the 3rd time we're decorating the kids' bedroom. So I'm like, okay, what if we do the main floor? We'll leave the kitchen because it's kind of separate and it's kind of a bigger bit of the budget. And then we will do the primary bedroom. And at the end of the meeting, when we had come to this agreement, I also reminded them that every single time they change course, it means another meeting and another round of revisions, and it is costing them money. So before we got off our Zoom call, I asked them, are you really committed to this plan going forward? Because I don't want you to spend any more design hours on meetings. And they said, yes. So, I think that we've done it. I think that for these clients, they've also made the decisions that are right for them, and I am so grateful I have the confidence and the expertise today that allows me to direct clients, not just take their word for what is right for them, because the truth is, I know that just doing the living room and the dining room on the main floor is a bad idea. And in fact, it might even have led to us completing the living room and dining room and then never being asked back again, because once you make other rooms look terrible, it's not good. It's not good for your image either, right? So, I recognize that it's easier now because I have more experience, but the truth of the matter is I could have stepped into my expertise a long, long time ago. I just didn't have the courage to do that. And I guess one of the things we are doing our best with the business of design community is encouraging you to don't reinvent the wheel. Don't go it alone. Let us help you figure out the structures and the systems and the boundaries and the strategies you need to run your business the right way from the beginning. Even in your 20s, your late 20s, your early 30s, you can be the expert in the eyes of your client, but it requires you to really stay focused and make sure everything they're seeing is in alignment with that expertise, right? I think that these clients are going to be happy that I directed them the way that I did. I think that we're going to make them really happy with the areas of the house that we're going to tackle. And I think that the kids' rooms will be fine. And the kids can always, you can always give the kids $1,000 and say, go crazy, decorate your room. They probably love the chance to do that. So let me leave you with this last design intervention. The client's budget and the client's wish list, they're never in alignment. Never, 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 never. It's my job as the expert to price the client's wish list, not run around town trying to match this made up budget. And not only that, but once I give the clients a realistic budget for the whole house, because I priced the whole wish list, they're in such a much better position to make smart decisions, and they appreciate that. You can help them with this process, by the way, but it might mean putting up some resistance to your client's ideas about how the project will work best. Remind yourself, and I remind myself this all the time, I am the expert. If you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you did you know that there are thousands of moments like this waiting for you as part of your Business of Design membership? Don't miss out on learning the real systems and solutions and strategies that can help you run your business and run your projects. Those are two different things. You got to do both. You got to run the business and you got to run the projects. It's chicken and the egg thing. You've got to do both, and we can help you do that. Sign up today to be a member of Business of Design and come to BOD live events each month. You can ask questions based on your own situation. It's coaching in the most affordable way, but it will change your life. I promise. There are hundreds of testimonials at businessofdesign.com. Go there and check them out. You're going to be so glad you decided to treat yourself to membership. Now is the moment. What are you waiting for? Thank you so much. I'm so glad to spend this time with you.